So what we have here, folks, is yet again another RNG battle, same team as last time, although this time I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to explain and go over things. So, as you can see here, playing an OU on whatever it is, Pokemon Showdown, and the team here that I've assembled is 6 Pokemon that I've got by punching in 6 random numbers between 1 and 649. If there were Ubers, I had to re-roll, and anything that was not fully evolved, I was allowed to pump up and evolve it to whatever. With Gardevoir, I actually rolled Kirlia, and Kirlia ended up getting a coin toss to end up being Gardevoir. So that's basically the overview of how this team got assembled and what I end up with here. So let's get right into this. So he leads off with Infernape, I lead off with Caracosta, and right now I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to hit me with a fighting move, or something like that, maybe T-Punch, who knows. So T-Punch goes, hits Gliscor. I switch into a hit because he's a defensive wall, he's going to take that hit pretty well, regardless of what it is. Unless he's special, of course, so I did take a little bit of a risk there. But I figure he's going to switch now. I didn't know what he really wanted to really switch into, so I go into Gardevoir to take whatever he wants to really do. And I fire off a Will-O-Wisp, but unfortunately he switches into Infernape. So I don't get the burn on Lucario, and I don't get a burn on Infernape, obviously. So I protect here just to see what he wants to do. He goes for close combat, and let's see, I can't remember exactly what I want to do. I think I stay in, predicting him to go for close combat again. Maybe he's choice of some sort. Maybe not based on that damage. I think choice will probably do a little bit more. Anyways, I stay in and go for the Psychic, predicting him to actually go and stick with the fighting. And so I nab an early Infernape KO, which is really huge in this whole situation here. So Zam comes in, and I know that thing's probably going to pack Shadow Ball, which it does, so I protect just to scout. I hope that it doesn't set up a sub, and unfortunately I have to just eat the Shadow Ball, and at least I'm able to wish up. So I'm able to wish here and stall out a little bit of Shadow Balls as I gain up a little bit of HP. Because Shadow Ball is not doing exactly 50, I think it's doing like 45. But unfortunately now Zam sets up a sub. So I really need to get rid of that in some sort of fashion. I don't really know what my plan is just yet. I know my Stunfisk is pretty specially defensive, so in my back of my mind I'm knowing that even if I don't have Gardevoir, I at least have options of where to go with this Zam play. So all you see right here is just stalling Shadow Balls, waiting for it to do something. And I'm also noting that the Zam doesn't take Life Orb damage, which I'm assuming it's Magic Guard at this point. So at the moment, keep in mind that I am currently thinking that this Zam is actually Magic Guard, to which most Zams nowadays have to be Magic Guard, right? So now that Gardevoir is at least a decent bit of HP, I think it's at 80 something %, I feel safe going into this guy here, Stunfisk, and I eat the Shadow Ball. It does absolutely nothing, so this Zam isn't really too offensive of a threat, at least not to this Stunfisk here. So he encores me even though he's faster, and I end up just going for the second discharge anyways, even though it's kind of an obvious play. And I know that I can't touch this Gliscor whatsoever because I've got Discharge and Earth Power, so I have to switch no matter what. My Stunfisk is actually a Rest Talker, and unfortunately I have to eat a Toxic. So Toxic wouldn't have mattered on Stunfisk, but I wouldn't have been able to do anything anyways. And I hear, as Rotom switched in, I desperately wanted to hit HP Grass again. I think that's the second battle in a row that instance has happened. So I do miss a Fire Blast anyways, so no harm, no foul. It probably would have done very little to this Rotom. So, whatever. I switch into Gardevoir though on the predicted special side hit from this Rotom, and so Gardevoir takes barely anything from that, and I think I dodged a Hydro Pump in there somewhere. So here I go for Burn just for some residual damage, and here's where I find out Zam is actually not Magic Guard, because right here Zam takes damage from Burn, and I get Synchronized too. So this Zam is actually synchronized. I'm pretty sure he just somehow forgot to set that. And so I know that I can get a little bit of burn stall on it here, even though the burn is going to hurt me a little bit too. I do have the option of wishing later. So assuming this Zam doesn't pack Recover, he's probably got Sub, Shadow Ball, I assume Psychic or Psyshock, and maybe Focus Blast. So he probably doesn't have the recovery that I do, at least with Gardevoir and Wish. But I know I can't take a Shadow Ball too well from there, especially with the burn. So I can't Wish and Protect that on that turn. So I have to switch out to this. I was just Sunfisk there to eat the Shadow Ball. And he switches in Hydreigon, which I'm assuming is going to pack some sort of water move. And no, wait, I can't remember. I think that was a double switch of some sort. But I Protect on this Hydreigon, seeing if it's maybe choiced at all or anything like that. And he goes with Aqua Tail again, so maybe he is choiced. Him switching on my Carracosta switch in, though, definitely shows that he probably is choiced. And he does switch out. So that allows me to get up a free Stealth Rock there as Rotom comes in. And I know this thing's probably going to go for a Volt Switch here to hit my Carracosta, which is probably going to kill it actually, but I end up switching to Stunfisk to take the Volt Switch. And even though Hydro Pump can probably kill me from there, he does end up switching, or maybe Hydro Pump wouldn't kill, I don't know, but I go for a Discharge, hoping to get some Para Hacks on something. Hydreigon comes in, and that's no harm, no foul, whatever. I'm assuming he's going to go for an Aqua Tail, but no, he goes for a Dragon Pulse instead, which is really nice for me because I know I can take a bunch of those, and so I can keep firing off Discharges. And I finally get my Para on the second one, which is sweet, because if this thing's Scarfed, which at the moment I know it's some sort of choice, Scarf is definitely going to be hindered by that paralysis anyways. So getting that thing slower is definitely huge for the rest of this battle. So from here on, I can rest and Sleep Talk and do some more stuff. And for some reason, I don't know why he's not just going into Gliscor here, because maybe he assumes I have Scald of some sort, and I can actually touch Gliscor, but I can't. I really wanted to hit a Para on this freaking Rotom, but unfortunately I don't. And there I dodge a Hydro Pump. I don't know how much that one would have done, but I assume quite a bit. So I go for another Sleep Talk, and unfortunately this time I hit my Earth Power. So at this point he knows all 4 moves. At least he should pick up on the fact that Stunfisk cannot touch Gliscor, so I don't know why he's not going to it, period. So maybe that's just whatever he wants to do. Gardevoir comes in and unfortunately doesn't take the Hydro Pump as well as I thought it would. And after the burn damage, I'm just not going to be able to get really any further with this Rotom. So he's going to finish me off, and I have to sack my Gardevoir at this point. So here I think I bring in Stunfisk, yeah, of course. Knowing full well that Hydro Pump is probably going to kill me. I don't know why he isn't going for it, because it's his most effective move against my Stunfisk here. I stay in and try and get more paralysis with Discharge, Sleep Talks, and unfortunately I'm still not hitting my Discharge paralysis, but at least I'm luckily hitting Discharge, because getting Earth Power against this thing would be real pain, and I have yet to actually hit a Rest, which is okay. But here I go for another Sleep Talk, and unfortunately it's an Earth Power, so no luck there. Rotom gets back up to full, and Stunfisk is just kind of sitting here occupying space at the time. However, he finally does go to Hydro Pump, and it does take me out like I assumed it would. Stunfisk is pretty bulky on the special side, I guess, but he doesn't just take that too well. So he goes for Volt Switch, and thank you to Solid Rock, Cooper's able to live it, and I think I go for Toxic, and unfortunately I don't get to land it on anything. I end up missing anyways, and he goes into his paralyzed Hydreigon. Now, because this thing was paralyzed, I actually assumed I would be faster, but apparently Carracosta is dirt slow, and he doesn't get a Stone Edge. I even had Aqua Jet, so at least I could have got some damage in there, but unfortunately that's not the case. But knowing that this thing is choiced, I go into Gliscor, and I take the Dragon Pulse, okay, fairly well, but Toxic is going to put me up to a point where it's not going to matter, and I get a free turn to SD. And the reason I go SD is because I have to make a move, knowing full well that Rotom should probably come in. For some reason he just flat out doesn't go to it, and so I Protect on the switch, and he goes into Lucario, so no harm no foul. I just set up another Protect to see what this thing wants to do. If it wants to SD, that's dangerous, but it ends up not SDing, and he does go for Ice Punch. Now at this point I assume I'm slower, or I assume that I think I can just not take, that I can somehow take the Ice Punch, so I end up going for EQ, and he switches for some reason, so maybe that cues me to think that he might be slower. And so he switches in Hydreigon for whatever reason, and he's still not going to Rotom. It's a freaking Gliscor, and this guy isn't going to Rotom for whatever reason. I don't know why he's not why he doesn't see that, but for some reason he goes to Hydreigon, he stays in, and I'm able to Ice Fang that thing and finish it off. Then he goes back to Lucario, and maybe he somehow thought he was faster again, and he allows me to Earthquake the thing, so I'm like, sweet, more threats gone, more threats gone. And he brings in Gliscor. Like, all this time I'm like, why aren't you going into Rotom? Just go into Rotom. You're just gonna save yourself so much hassle. And so here, I'm assuming he's gonna Protect so that he can get some extra HP out in Gliscor. And I just get up another SD, so now I'm at +4. That seems okay. And this Gliscor is sitting pretty for now. And this is where he finally decides to go to Rotom. And I'm just gonna Ice Fang. And you know what, folks? Sometimes you get some hacks with Ice Fang. And lo and behold, what is going on? I accidentally paused the video. Whoops. Lo and behold, I actually get some hacks. I get some freeze hacks on this Rotom. So the only thing I have to hit it with is Ice Fang, because I've already got EQ, Protect, and SD. So I keep going for Ice Fang. It's whittling it down. I'm hoping that it can stay frozen just long enough to finish it off. Come on, folks. My freeze can last that long, right? Come on, freeze. Come on, freeze. Go for another one. Still frozen. Come on, Gliscor. You can do it. One more turn, or maybe two. One more turn of freeze, and I'd be fine. Go for Ice Fang. Does a little bit, and Rotom thaws out. And he doesn't Hydro Pump right away, which is kind of okay with me. That's fine. He goes for Pain Split, obviously, to get some health back. But at this point, I'm just trying to whittle this Rotom down enough to where hopefully an HP Grass from my Scarf Magmortar can take it out. So he's just gonna keep going for Pain Splits. I don't know why he just didn't Hydro Pump. That seems like kind of an obvious play to me. So I keep going for Ice Fangs just to get more damage on this thing. I can't have it too close to full because I know Magmortar's not going to be able to take it with an HP Grass from there. But sitting here at about, after lefties, he's at 57%. So I'm like, alright, Magmortar, HP Grass is going to kill off everything else he's got left. So hopefully HP Grass can do it, and I leave him with 9. 9! And it really bites, and I die. So Magmortar goes down, but Rotom gets some lefties. So now he's at 16%. So I'm like, alright, Farfetch'd, Quick Attack can do 16%. 16%, that's all you need. And no, I do 15. But he didn't go for Volt Switch. He didn't go for Volt Switch. And so, because of that, I'm like, alright, as long as I'm faster, I can hit it. And I go for Leaf Blade, and it kills! Leaf Blade kills, and Rotom is gone. And I know that Quick Attack can actually finish off the Zam because it's pretty low and it's pretty weak physically defensively on the physical side. And Gliscor comes in. So I didn't really predict the Protect, so I probably could have gone for Swords Dance there. So I go for Brave Bird, hoping that he doesn't like try and set up a sub or anything. Go for Brave Bird again, knowing that I can't allow him to set up a sub. So, unfortunately, he gets the second Protect in a row, 50% chance. What are you going to do? And he goes for a sub, but I know that Brave Bird likely will kill, so go for Brave Bird, and it does kill, which is really nice. So that's pretty okay. So here I predict him to go for another Protect, though, just because he wants to get more health, and I still don't know why he just didn't Toxic me, either. Like, Toxic's kind of obvious here, whatever. But that's not the case. So, he goes for Protect as I set up a Swords Dance. His second Protect fails, and my Quick Attack fails to do as much as I would have hoped it would have done. And here, he goes for another Protect as I think I go for another SD. Yes. So now I'm +4. So now that I know that Quick Attack I think before did like 18%, I know that this one's going to do 36, and it's going to put it into a range where it's not going to be able to sub. But I assume he went for sub there, and either way, that thing was going down. Maybe he went for Toxic, who knows, but I get a crit, and Gliscor goes down. So all he has left is a Zam, with a +4 Farfetch'd and Quick Attack, after Rocks and all that good stuff. Farfetch'd is going to be able to finish the job. So there you go, folks. Farfetch'd with 3 kills in this one. A lot better than last time, I think. Definitely a little bit more dicier. I think last time was a 4-0, but this time was a 1-0. Go Farfetch'd.